If you want to understand why the people who run the world haven't banned Bitcoin, why they're actually pushing to adopt it, and why they're accumulating it, here's some facts I'm going to read out and a historical example that'll make that very clear. Just listen to some of these facts for a second. It might shock you. So for over a century, oil barons ruled the global economy. Rockefellers, Koch, ExxonMobil, BP. They built their empires on fossil fuels. They lobbied against climate regulation. They spread doubt about renewable energy so that everybody kept using their product. But then they saw the shift coming to green energy, and they knew that it was better technology. They knew that it's inevitable. So what do? Did they continue just trying to fight it? No, they bought in. So here's the facts. The Koch brothers, once among the biggest opponents of green energy, quietly invested over $750 million into battery technology and solar power. BP and Shell, two of the biggest oil giants, they've spent billions acquiring wind farms and electrical vehicle charging networks. They aren't fighting renewables anymore, they're integrating them into their empire. ExxonMobil is now one of the largest investors in carbon capture technology, not because they care about the environment, but because they know they'll make money whether oil survives or not. You can find these examples all throughout history of wealthy, powerful people hedging. Basically, they always bet on both sides. That way, they'll be fine either way. So how are they hedging with Bitcoin? This is the biggest hedge of all because it's hedging against money itself. So have rich people benefited from the fiat monetary system? They benefit through something called the Cantillon effect. When money is printed through the fiat system, it benefits rich people because they get to borrow that money at low rates and they lend it to you at higher rates. I know this sounds absurd, but this is literally how central banking works. They are middlemen accumulating wealth and producing nothing to increase GDP. It's just a monopoly. It's arbitrary that they get to do it and you don't. So how does Bitcoin help them if they benefit from the current monetary system so much? Well, as you saw with Rockefeller, as you saw with BP, as you saw with Exxon, even empires know that they can collapse and they don't keep their eggs all in one basket. They always keep a hedge. Bitcoin is the hedge. If you're a billionaire, you can, instead of fighting Bitcoin, just buy into it. You take a portion of your portfolio, you allocate it to Bitcoin. If the US empire collapses, if the dollar collapses, if the traditional finance system which you benefit from collapses, Bitcoin is going to 100x. And now you're richer than you even were before. And if it doesn't, well, Bitcoin is still the greatest appreciating asset in history. And now you have some exposure to it in your portfolio, 10%, 20%, 15%, 5%. And now you're winning through the traditional finance system, you're winning through the fiat system, the Cantillon effect, you're accumulating wealth, but you're also getting some Bitcoin gains. So the best option is always to buy Bitcoin. This is how Bitcoin is engineered. The incentive engineering is that everyone benefits from this system. It's a positive sum game. Whether you're a billionaire, whether you're an oligarch, or whether you're a Venezuelan fruit vendor, the best strategy is always to buy Bitcoin. Not to fight it, not to try and ban it, but just to buy in. Because what's the alternative? If you're these wealthy people and you don't buy in, now all your eggs are in one basket, the fiat system collapses, the US empire collapses, every historical empire has collapsed. Every fiat currency has collapsed. And the wealthy people, the people that run the world, they know this. They know that the US dollar will inevitably collapse. Look up something called the Triffin dilemma. So they're using Bitcoin as a hedge against this very collapse. It's the only logical thing to do is you buy into both sides and either way you'll be fine. I don't really understand why people think that wealthy people don't like Bitcoin. Just because you benefit from a current system doesn't mean you're going to try to fight another system. You can just buy into both systems and win either way. You guys need to look up something else called the prisoner's dilemma. This is the same thing. The logical thing is always to buy Bitcoin. If you're a wealthy person, all your assets are tied in the traditional finance system and the banking system. If you end up on the wrong side of politics, if your country undergoes a regime change, you can lose the entirety of your wealth. You can be debanked, you can lose all your real estate, you can lose all your stocks. Because all of those assets are centralized assets that you have to trust in a third party to custody for you. Bitcoin is the only asset you can truly self-custody by keeping your own private keys. Many billionaires understand this, and that's why they're adopting Bitcoin. It's an insurance policy to them. They don't want to risk losing everything when they have so much at stake. Anyways, guys, this has been Block by Block. I hope this was informative. Lightning address in the description below if anybody wants to help support the channel, and I will see you next time.